Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Savage Sessions. I'm your host, Ryan Rush. Now today we're diving straight into Dean's Blue Hole. We had some buddies from the States come and visit us, Philip and Quinn. As soon as they touched down on the island, first thing we wanted to do was bring them straight to Dean's Blue Hole, one of the most beautiful dive sites in the world, hands down. Now Dean's Blue Hole is 666 feet deep. Now there's a cave about 150 feet. And they haven't mapped out the cave yet. They're still trying to figure out where the exit is that enters into the Atlantic Ocean. That's why you'll get all that sand getting sucked out and it doesn't build up. All right, so now it's time to go spearfishing, time to poke some fish. So we went ahead and rented a boat from Sun Adventures, called Cat and Matthew, see if you want to come out with us, and we're headed out. Now, first thing we like to do is go ahead and dial in our gear. Make sure that these guys are nice and comfy with the technique of primitive hunting. Whenever you're on a dive trip or you got a new piece of gear or a new gun or something like that you're not familiar with, I recommend go ahead and just shooting a smaller targeted species. So when you do see that trophy fish, you already have your gear dialed in. You already know, all right, this Polespear shoots a little high or this gun shoots a little low or whatnot, and you can adjust. So that way, when you do see that trophy fish, you're ready. As you guys can see, Long Island has some of the most beautiful waters in the world, hands down. There's a reason why we bought our Airbnb. This is one of the few places in the world where you can dive 365 days a year, year round. No matter what the weather conditions are, you can always find a place to spearfish, or you can always go to the Dean's Blue Hole and line dive and train. Can't spearfish at Dean's, guys. That's a big no-no. All right, so these guys are getting it all dialed in. This is their first time ever using a primitive gear, ever polespearing. It's not as challenging as you might think it is. Once you get the foundation of the technique down, you really find yourself to enjoy the simplicity of the polespear. All right, so now we saw a couple conch. I'm always looking for some fresh conch. Big fan of conch salads and cracked conch. Now here we got Quinn going in for a mutton. Now notice this shot right here. As soon as he releases, the mutton takes off, right? Well, he aimed a little bit higher. You want to try to get parallel to the fish when you take your shot. Don't try to take your shot from above. You gotta have a much smaller target area. Get parallel to that fish, and then take your shot. You're gonna have a much bigger area of the target. All right, so we saw a couple of yellow jacks coming in. Quinn takes a beautiful duck dive, nice entry. He extends, takes his aim, lines up his shot. Unfortunately, the shot was a little bit high, just gave the fish a haircut, and wasn't able to connect. That's why you really want to twist your arm when you extend your elbow, and that's going to make sure your arm's nice and straight. It'll give you that nice, straight, true shot. It's okay though, he saw a nice fish up in this rock, dove down, took his time, I was able to connect. So part of being a buddy, man, is going down and retrieving that fish for your buddy, you know? Especially when it comes here in the Bahamas. I don't like to leave the fish in the rock, fighting that noise of the polespear hitting against the rock, the vibration that fish makes when it's wounded. That's gonna bring in the sharks, bring in the taxmen, right? And these sharks are pretty stubborn out here in the Bahamas. They don't stop. You know, once sharks come to you in your boat, they know that sound of that engine, they tend to follow the boat for the rest of the day, so we try not to bring them in. All right, so we got a little bit of meat on the boat. we decided to change spots, grab a couple conch. Now, as a foreigner and a visitor to the Bahamas, you're allowed to get 6 conch per day. And quite honestly, you don't really need more than that. Conch don't really freeze well, and 6 conch is a lot of conch to clean. Notice we're diving 1 up, 1 down, right? Always got to keep an eye on your buddy. Safety, safety, safety. We got Quinn dialing in a nice hogfish here. All right, that's it for day 1. What a successful, great day. These guys have never picked up a Polespear in their hand. And on their first shots, they were able to connect and get some meat. All right, Philip spots a beautiful grouper from the surface. Does a nice stealthy entry, making sure not to spook the fish. Now, as he swims towards the fish, he's being sure not to make too quick of movements to spook it. Was able to take his shot and connect, toggle the flopper. We had the fish up on the surface. I like to get it out of the water so the motions and the vibrations of the fish fighting doesn't attract the sharks. Go ahead and just put that fish on board, and you can dispatch it, bleed it, and gut it once it's on board. It's a lot easier to do it on board than having to deal with the sharks. Beautiful grouper. Nice job, buddy. Look at the stoke. Nothing beats the stoke. I'll tell you guys, man, truly, I take more joy in seeing you guys land these trophy fish than if I were to shoot the fish myself. All right, now it's Quinn's turn. Does a beautiful entry, goes down to the bottom, then he starts to stalk his fish. All right, here he's doing a guada, dynamic ambushing. Just throwing up a little bit of sand, doing a couple grouper calls, see if we can get the grouper to stop from getting back in the cave. It worked long enough for the grouper to pause, reaches out, aims, and was able to take a beautiful shot and connect. Making it look easy, buddy. Got that fish out of the water. Minimum displacement of water, keeping those sharks away. And handing it off to Philip. Beautiful Nassau grouper there, buddy. Nice job. So I like to go ahead and bleed the fish right away and gut them. That's gonna give you the best quality meat. All right, let's go get some more, man. Fill up with a beautiful hogfish here, stoning it, making it look easy. And notice this depth too, guys. We're not diving super deep. You know, one of the biggest questions I get asked about, people asking about the island, is how deep we're diving. There's no need to dive deep here in the Bahamas, guys. All right, most of the fish that we're gonna be hunting are gonna be 30 to 40 feet. Comfy depth. All right, and here we got Quinn looking underneath some rocks, looking for some more crawfish, maybe a grouper. Now notice, these guys aren't hunting until they get to the bottom, right? You don't want to hunt from the surface unless you actually see like a big trophy hog or grouper or something, then yeah, go down and harvest them. But most of your fish are going to be up in the cracks, up in the crevices. They're going to be hidden, all right? So you got to get down there and look, all right? They're not going to come out to you. You got to look, find these fish. You'd be surprised how big of a fish can fit in a little small haul. Here I see a nice hog from the surface. I call Quinn over. I'm like, hey buddy, come shoot this hog, man. I've already shot plenty of hogs. I enjoy letting our guests shoot some hogs. He does a funky little entry, a little tornado. Takes his aim, and is able to connect nicely, stoning a beautiful male hogfish. I'd tell you that's one of the best eating fish in the oceans, hands down. Love me some hogfish. Beautiful fish there. And all you vegans out there that want to hate, this is sustainable spearfishing here. There's no bycatch. We're not leaving any fishing line, any hooks left behind. We're only shooting what we want to eat and what we plan on eating. We're only killing what we're going to eat. And we're selective with it. We're not over harvesting, sustainable spearfishing. All right, Philip with a nice lobster. Looks like lobster mac and cheese tonight, boys. So sometimes when you guys shoot into these rocks and these fish, the grouper is going to be, or the hogfish or whatever fish you're shooting is going to be flush against the rock. So if you were to draw all the way back on that band and then release that Polespear, there's a good chance that that tip's going to go straight through that reef and you're not going to get your spear back and you're going to damage the reef. So don't be afraid to power down when you guys are shooting close up. Captain Matthew doing his captain things. And beautiful hogfish. Great job, buddy. Hanging out with some locals. All right, I think we got plenty of fish for the box for that day. I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day, start cleaning some fish. On the way in, we decided we want to stop by and check out this old pirate anchor. There's an old lighthouse out here in one of the cays. It's an old false lighthouse where the old locals of the island used to lure merchants and ships in and get them to crash on the rocks. And then they would go and pillage and steal all their supplies. Got Mr. Bullshark down back there hanging out with Philip. All right, so we got a storm coming in, so we decided to head in a little bit. This is some savage diving right here, driving through a nice storm. Feels good though, honestly, that cool rain on a hot Caribbean day feels great. Now here, do not try this at home. I am an expert and I do not recommend this. Now with the clouds being out, we weren't able to really see the reefs and the rocks well. And there's an old drug plane, Pablo Escobar's plane that crashed in the flats on the way in. Unfortunately, there were no square groupers in the plane. Those have already been all harvested. All right, so we get back to the dock. And what not a bad catch, especially for some second-time Spearos here. These guys crushed it, crushed it. All right, so for the last day, we decided we wanted to dive on the south side of the island, which means we got to launch the boat in kind of a sketchy location. You got swells coming in. So the best thing to do is kind of just swim out to the boat and hop on that way. Hey, you guys want to do some savage diving? This is some savage diving right here. All right, so everybody's on the boat safely. We got our lower unit intact. Let's go poke some fish, man. You guys are looking to dive into spearfishing, check out savagediving.com. We take a nautical approach, training divers to spearfish as well as free dive. All right, so here we had a couple Abaco jack coming in. I love to make some fish dip with these. Now these fish are very strong. Typically in the States, when we harvest these fish, we have a spear gun and a reel or a float line. So you can imagine how difficult it is with a Polespear with no float line or reel. Look at the power of those fish, man. So I go down and grab it from Philip. As I'm kicking it up, I'm not really getting any leeway. The fish is just bringing me down to the bottom. I can feel myself getting tired. Now worried I might have a hypoxic event, an LMC or blackout. I had Quinn go ahead and just put another shot in it. You know, it's not worth it. When in doubt, just put another shot in. Make sure you harvest that fish safely. You're not losing a Polespear and no one's blacking out. We always try to clean up the reef too. Any lionfish we see, we try to harvest them. Not only is it good eating, but they're bad for the reef, so let's get rid of those little bastards. We decided to check out a different reef. Met another local, hanging out with him for a little bit.
No copper coin, nah, no paper bill. Can pay the bills, but I can give you loving. Pack a brown bag, take you to the hill all afternoon. Can't fill the gas tank, can't get you stoned. I can't condone, but I can give you loving. Money don't speak louder than
I guess he didn't want to bring my Polespear up for me, man. All right, so I'm gonna go get this fish out of this rock. I don't want to get sharks attracted. So I felt something grab behind me. I was thinking maybe it was a shark behind me. But nope, it was my buddy just grabbed my Polespear for me. Now notice on the way up, I'm always checking my surroundings. I've had a bunch of sharks come in before from behind, just give you like a little bump, trying to get your fish from you. Always check your six, so you ain't gotta worry about that.
Not proper born, nah, no Sunday king. Can't summon rings, but I can give you love.
Beautiful hogfish, buddy. Great job. All right, so now we see a nice stud mutton. Now, muttons are a very, very skittish fish. You gotta kind of play chess with them. So as we're stalking this mutton, he actually ended up leading us to a nice, beautiful male hog. Quinn was able to dive down, take his time, take his shot, and connect with the hog. This is a beautiful male hogfish. Nice trophy hog. And the stoke is real. Great job, buddy. Another crawfish. Nice big crawfish too. Now notice guys, when we're shooting these crawfish, try to make sure we don't shoot them in the tail, mess up that tail meat. I see a little yellow jack, make some nice sashimi, go ahead and pop it. Nice grouper in a hole. Decided to go ahead and pop him. I gotta bring some dinner home for me too, guys. If you guys are looking to dive into spearfishing, check out savagediving.com. Stay savage, guys.
Savage Spearfishing Productions.